Lee Industrial is maybe one of the best kept secrets in all of Oakland County. Lee is a major full service industrial contractor that I say has got the same capacity as the Army Corps of Engineers. We're going to have a great conversation with Ken LaBruyere, their CEO. So enjoy our talk. I'm here with Ken LaBruyere, the CEO of Lee Industrial Contracting. Ken, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Lee Industrial Contracting, I know full service industrial contractor located right in Pontiac in the heart of Oakland County. Tell us a little bit about Lee.
Okay, Lee Industrial Contracting has been around for about 25 years in one form or another. It was started out by Ed Lee, and it started out as an electrical company. And I really wasn't there. I can tell you the stories, and the story goes that Ed was on a job. He's always been very attuned to customer needs, and a customer needed some equipment moved. And he said, oh shoot, we can move that equipment. And the customer said, great, move it. And then he said, oh shoot, now I have to try to figure out how to move the equipment. So he moved the equipment, began to do things as far as asset relocation, continued on with the electrical, realized there was a whole world of pipe fitting needs out there, began to eventually, going back, say, forward into 2010, and we continue today to add things such as controls, painting, fabrication. We have lots of other divisions now. And what we bring to the company, or the customers with all that, is a one-call solution. So they can call us, and then we're capable of handling really anything that they need. And I started at Lee Contracting as a project manager.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and I can tell you that it was awesome to be able to have a customer see me as well, and I would realize the whole scope of the job was not understood as we started. They need some other trades, and I was always able to say, we can handle that for you. And I could very quickly bring in the assets that were needed, the people that were needed, the materials that were needed to be able to get the job done for them. It made the job easy.
This is extraordinary. I had an opportunity to tour Lee with one of your colleagues, and seeing just the amount of investment that has gone in to that site in Pontiac off of Cesar Chavez, and then visiting each of the different, is it a division like transportation? You got like huge trucks and right on the rail, and so those are sub companies, or
those are sub companies, yeah.
And they're transportation, industrial, what are the other ones?
There's a union rigging side. There's a union rigging company there. There's a transportation company, and there's also a crane company. They can, use cranes to lift very heavy, very large assets over larger distances, not just small cranes.
Yeah, and how many people roughly work at Lee?
About 350 now.
Are those all folks that are based in the Pontiac location?
Those are people based in Pontiac.
Now, people have probably seen your red trucks around the region.
I can guarantee it, Andy.
They've seen it.
Yeah.
And that's you guys. So if
That's
you see
us.
that, and it's always a very clean vehicle, well branded and everything, and that's you guys. I know Mr. Lee got some well-deserved recognition at the State of the County address.
That's wonderful.
That had to be a proud moment. And well, as I learned more about you guys, it just struck me that, I don't think the Army Corps of Engineers has got anything on you guys.
They're too slow.
You guys get it done.
We do get it done.
Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that you guys are doing in Pontiac right now, because I've been so impressed with the corporate citizenship, if you will, of Lee. It's clear that providing all those jobs and that investment, that would be a lot on its own. But it seems as though you guys have taken a much broader view, and that you see yourself as a member of the community. You've made some pretty significant investments in Pontiac, including the renovation of the Meisner School and Auditorium. Talk a little bit about that one for me.
Well, if I can put it in a nutshell,
Please.
This is what will make a company strong and a nation strong. It makes people strong, and that is giving. You have to be able to understand what you have inside you, what your assets are. As we as a company give to the community and give to people around us, it reminds us that we're capable. If we were just receiving, we would feel needy. We don't feel needy though. We feel like we have abundance and we have more to give. So as I see young guys go into our CDI program,
And what is the CDI program?
CDI program is a training program. It is not like a trades program, but what it does is it'll take young people, usually, in and allow them to learn the basics of working in an industrial setting. So some of these young people could come in and maybe work in a factory setting, or they could come and work for us and get divided into one of our different options that we provide to our customers. So what it does though is it allows them to understand how to arrive at work and how to be properly dressed when you arrive at work, how to speak to people, how to use at least basic technology, how to use things like tape measures and screwdrivers, how to keep their stuff in order. You can't really work successfully if you don't have the right tools, let's say. So they're going to be equipped with tools, and they're going to be equipped with tools here as well.
Wonderful. That's CDI.
That's CDI.
What does that stand for?
Career development.
Career development.
Thank you. Boy, you're trying to catch me.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let's avoid those.
Okay. Well, you don't have to tell me what it stands for, but there's also CSI, is that?
CSI.
And what's
and
that
that's
about?
Storage. For the most part, storage. But that was just a moniker given to what we would potentially do in the future in the central building.
And by the Central Building, you're referring to former Central High School in
right.
Pontiac.
That's right.
Which was no longer in use by the school district, and candidly had fallen upon a bit of a state of disrepair.
Yes, it had.
Folks that drive down Huron Street right now, they see a very different image.
Yes.
When they look at that building, and not just the building, but the surrounding property. Tell me about that transformation. And it's gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
The short version is it's beautiful.
Well, I will say if you're seeing the outside and you think it's really changed, you should have seen the inside.
I did.
You did.
I did get that tour, and it was, I was curious about how you were going to pull it off. If it wasn't Lee, I might not have been as confident.
Well, the way that I would put it, I think what we've done right now is we've cleaned the canvas. We don't entirely know what we're going to paint there, but we have things cleaned up and orderly and organized, and you can see in every corner the Lee way. It's like you said about the red trucks, it's clean, it's orderly, there's a place for everything, and now we're beginning to develop many different options for what we might want to do in that building. But again, you need to understand your infrastructure, and you need to have it cleaned, and we won't operate in a dirty environment. We're just going to go in and get everything all up to full snuff before we begin to do things. So
There was some dirt to clean up there.
there was a lot of dirt to clean up, and a lot of water, and a lot of spiders, and yeah.
Broadly, the concept there is workforce development. Is that one of the things that was being considered, or?
It really, the way I would put it is it's an expansion for us to be able to, as our customers show us their needs and as we work very diligently to be able to fill those needs, we could move multiple different things into that space. It's a large, over 400,000 square foot space, and it allows us to adapt, really, more than anything else, I would say.
So you have Meisner, you have Central, you are investing in the city. What's important about Pontiac? Why do you think Pontiac is worthy of investment?
Oakland County is fantastic.
Yes.
Oakland County is just such a hub. When I've traveled out of state even, people know Oakland County. And we are privileged to be able to be a part of Oakland County. And Pontiac is just a great hub for that. And maybe a little bit of that is just being able to remember the past as well. Many years ago, I remembered coming up to Pontiac to get my marriage license. And it's still kind of a hub of activity. And I think we picked right, because as you see all these other new things move in, and the sales and transfers of property really beginning to happen in a heavy way, you can see that this is really going to be a hub.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And Pontiac, as our county seat, is really critical to the success of Oakland County. And as we're seeing more and more investment in downtowns, including the city of Detroit, it's great that Pontiac is getting a piece of the action, and I think is really seen as an emerging market throughout the region. I know that there are some folks that are getting priced out of Midtown or downtown, but you guys are certainly early adapters, and as some of the Slows Barbecue and the Flagstar Strand and Pete Carmanos and Mad Dog Technologies, I think that you guys did pick well, and I'm so glad that you did.
Well, we also have a range. You know, it makes sense to have our guys travel a certain amount of minutes to job sites, and then after that it starts to become more and more questionable. And being in Pontiac, we can easily travel all the way down to Detroit and all the way up to Flint, and this entire region, as you said, is accessible to us from Pontiac.
So now you guys are a larger company, and you know, we've been talking a lot about entrepreneurship. And so say a word or two. We talked a little bit about Mr. Lee and kind of the evolution there. That really required some entrepreneurial kind of a orientation. What about that?
Well, I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Pardon me.
When I've read about what really makes a great entrepreneur, somebody that can start from nothing and build something, they say somebody that has a big personality and a lot of energy can do that. And Ed Lee has both of those. You know, he's got a big personality, and he's able to remember a lot of names and connect with a lot of people, and he has a lot of energy. And so he was just the perfect person to get something like that rolling and bring it to a spot where the entire vision of all the different multiple services that can be offered would be in one house by one company. So the challenge for us has been to continue an entrepreneurial spirit, because if you lose that and you're a bigger company, you're static. And if you're static, you're probably fooling yourself. You're not static, you're going downhill. It's been a big challenge, but it's been very important to us to continue to see the future and continue to see growth into the future. Those young people that we were talking about that are starting out their careers, trying to build their families, they need to be able to look 2 steps ahead. They need to be able to look forward and see that I can be something more than I am today. That's what we have in our company. We look and say we can be something more tomorrow than we are today. If we lost that, I would be very fearful.
And even a larger company maintaining an entrepreneurial spirit. That is very compelling.
Well, you do that by giving some people some ownership. Hence the ESOP that we transferred into.
Employee Stock Ownership Program?
Yes. So we entered into that.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And that's a way to allow people as well. They say it takes a lot of time. When you talk to the experts, they say to really get the full value, to have every single person understand what that means and what that can bring to them, takes time. To me, one of the most important aspects of it is not that you have a pension program, if you will, but you also have a way of being able to remind yourself as a company that it's time to let people own the jobs that they have and give them more responsibility of what they're doing. Without that, you can't be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship really comes down to you're responsible for something. Nobody's paying your paycheck for you, right? You have to go out there and get that work, then you have to perform the work, or you're not going to be eating the next week. So we want our people to feel that as well. We want them to really understand that, that we're counting on them. I guess is the simplest way to put it.
Well, Ken, I really want to thank you for your work at Lee, for the contribution that Lee is making to a critical city of Pontiac, a place that we love in our beloved Oakland County. It really is an amazing story, and so thank you very much for that. This has been a conversation with Ken LaBruyere, the CEO of Lee Industrial Contracting.